Okay, here we are at one of the most famous restaurants on Broadway in New York, Sardis. I'm about to go in and have a drink and a chat with Liza Minnelli. Can we have quiet on the set, please, everyone?
So not my dad.
She's one of America's biggest living treasures, born into Hollywood royalty, but she's become a living legend in her own right.
And now, last night we were at the Astaire Awards.
Yes.
You arrived on the red carpet, and suddenly there was this thrill through the crowd. What amazed me was that you were just down to earth. I mean, you made them all feel at ease and that. How?
Well, I mean, just because you're talented doesn't mean you get to be, you know, fancy.
Yeah?
It doesn't mean you can be rude. I wasn't raised like that.
She was raised in Hollywood during the golden years of filmmaking, the daughter of Judy Garland and successful director Vincente Minnelli.
You know, I don't like when people are like that with me. You know, I see other people push people around. I hate that. I hate it. You know, and when people act like stars. What is that? What does a star act like? Every real star I've ever known was swell.
When you were growing up,
yes.
Did you go onto the set and watch things happen?
I was all over the set.
Yeah?
Yeah, I knew my way all over MGM Studio. It was like you know, most kids have a backyard, a playground. I had MGM Studios. So I would watch, and the place where I liked to be the most was the dance, you know, rehearsal halls. And I loved the movement. So I decided I wanted to be an ice skater. And that's what I wanted to be up until I saw that was my dream. Up until I saw my first Broadway show, or the first one that really affected me, which was Bye Bye Birdie.
Right.
And I thought, ooh, Broadway, yeah, that's what I want to do.
Well, you did do Broadway at 17, Best Foot Forward, and won your first award, basically, I guess, you know?
Yes.
Which was the Theatre World Award, you know?
Yes.
You know, you've won many since then, but to get your first award, was it a buzz?
Oh, yes, because there was a whole bunch of us together, you know? And, you know, I was one of the parts. I wasn't the star or anything. I was just one of the cast. And I danced very hard, and that's what I liked really doing the most, was the dancing. But then I found out if you wanted a better part, or if you had to sing. And more than that, you had to act. 'Cause I love you, just the way you look tonight.
Through your influence of your mum and your dad,
yes.
Did they say, I want you to be part of the life we're living, or did...
No, my parents always said, you'll do what you want.
Oh, really?
We know you. I'm a Minnelli, I do what I want. And my mom knew that about me. She knew I didn't want to be, you know, I was bored with, growing up in Hollywood was like a coal mining town.
Right.
Except the coal mines happened to be the studios. Everybody got up and went to work. Early in the morning, they came home at a certain hour, you had dinner, and people went to bed. It was absolutely regimented. All of the glitter, the glamour, the gutter, all that crap. I never saw that part. We saw the working part, which was our parents worked. And my father worked all the time. And when I'd see him, would be after school, I'd go to the studio.
So you never went through a Joan Crawford period of like almost like a Mummy Dearest thing, you know?
No.
All right.
My parents were always around for me.
Yeah?
Always there for me.
Liza moved to New York City in 1963. She was only 17. She wouldn't take a dime of her parents because she wanted to prove to everyone she could make it on her own. She did not want to be known as Judy Garland's daughter.
Was it cruel for you in auditions?
Yes, of course. Yes, horrifying. When I went to audition for Flora the Red Menace, I took 8 steps onto the stage, and I wanted this part so badly. I wanted to play Flores so badly. And I just met Fred Ebb and John Cantor, you know, who became, they invented me. You know? I was 8 steps onto the stage, and George Abbott said in the stage, well, this is a waste of time. I thought, keep going, keep going, keep going. And I kept getting turned down, so I just kept coming back to audition. I finally wore them down. You know, Hal Prince finally got sick of me and he hired me.
What did you like back then? I mean, when you were like 16, 17, I mean, what were you listening to, you know?
Oh.
What music? What...
Anything that was from Broadway.
Yeah?
Anything was from Broadway. And every piece of rock and roll I could get my hands on, because I love to dance. And if you're a dancer, you listen to rock and roll. Yeah. I knew everything the Beatles were, you know, you name it, I did it.
You were the youngest person to ever win, back then, a Tony Award.
Well, for musical, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was Patty Duke who won it for, before that, before I was on Broadway. She won it for brilliant acting.
Right.
But I was the youngest to win it for a musical ever.
Between the recording career and, you know, being on stage, what's taking precedent here? Because, I mean, it's time-consuming, you know?
No, you do the work.
Yeah?
You do the work. You know, I wasn't a big recording artist. I never have been. I'm the only one who sells the kind of tickets I sell without having been a huge major record star. Think about it.
You've had some successful records. I mean,
yeah, but think about it. Who had the hit on Cabaret? Louis Armstrong.
Yeah, Louis Armstrong. Yes.
Who had the hit on New York, New York? Sinatra. But even before that, I never sold records. I mean, I'm selling them now. But I'm not a, you know, I'm a performer. I'm a stage creature. I'm a modern vaudevillian.
But also, I mean, you weren't only just doing, like, Broadway. I mean, you were doing clubs. I mean, you were working in clubs.
Well, that was after Broadway. That was after Flora the Red Menace closed.
Yeah.
And then I was supposed to do a nightclub act. And I asked Fred Ebb if he would write it. And he said, sure. So he wrote one of the funniest nightclub acts in the world, and that's when he wrote Liza with the Z.
Right.
And he wrote it in 2 hours, and I learned it in 20 minutes. Because the real writer had to go out to do something else, and Fred quickly wrote this behind his back, and I learned it. And we did it, and people liked it.
But when you're a Liza, you always have to say, it's Liza with a Z, not Lisa with an S, because Lisa with an S goes not it's Z instead of S, line instead of Lee. It's simple as can be. See, Liza.
In '67, you married Peter Allen.
Yes.
Yes. The Aussie connection, you know?
I remember at one point, my mom saying to me, we were in London.
You mean Miss Garland, do you?
Yes.
Right, okay.
We were in London. I just met Peter, and he was teaching me harmonies for something, and he was so funny, and we got along so well. And he said, you stay out there. Don't let her run you over with the truck. I said, oh, I won't. He said, don't. I said, oh, don't worry about it. It's fine. So he was teaching me this harmony, and he got me going, and Mama got mad at me for something. She said, take those trousers off, you look fat, right? Which is the worst thing you could say to a girl, right? So Peter stepped right in front of me and said, she's not fat. My mother said, excuse me? And he said, she's not fat. And I thought, we're gonna get along fine. And he really got me away from there and got me out of there, and himself too. We ran for the hills. Peter was so feisty, you know, always, right until the day he died, and I was there.
During the early 70s, Liza concentrated on her film career.
The character of Sally Bowles.
Yes.
Did you see yourself in part of that?
No.
No?
No. I saw myself in the Sterile Cuckoo. I understood Pookie Adams backwards. But no, I didn't. And Fosse really helped me with that.
Because you studied very hard the images of of people for that era, of how it looked and whatever?
Well, the only person that I knew that was from that era was Dietrich.
Right.
So I thought I'd dye my hair blonde. And my father said, no, honey, no, listen. And he showed me all of these wonderful pictures of Louise Brooks and Louise Guam and Theda Bara and all of this stuff. And he broadened my spectrum, he broadened my mind. So we went over and we rehearsed and everything. And I had created the look. I had found this
amazing look
store where they sold eyelashes, right? And I'd asked the lady to make me some special ones, you know. So she did. I took them with me. And I have a tool case, a tiny little tool case with my makeup in. I took the lashes with me. I pulled out all my eyebrows, which was plenty painful. Then, when I was over there, I cut my hair in a point and dyed it black. And Fosse said, but you didn't ask about that. And I had all the makeup on. I said, what'd you think? He went, it's great, it's great. I said, oh, good. Because I wanted her to look different. I wanted her to be, she had to think she was different. She would have done anything to be different. First of all, they sent us to Germany to make a musical about the Nazis. I mean, what the hell? I mean, they weren't going to make this in Hollywood. They went, yeah, fine. You know, nobody paid any attention to it. So we were over there, and Fosse could do anything he wanted to. And he had studied the period. We shot most of it in Munich at the studios. And then we shot in Berlin, and we shot in Hamburg.
What good is sitting alone in your room? Come hear the music play. Life is a cabaret, oh chum. Come to the cabaret.
Did you imagine what this was going to do, and what it was going to do
No.
for Liza Minnelli, but what it was going to become, this movie?
No, because it's still as different as you want to get. You know, it was Fosse, and it was all of these people, and everybody really working together. Like they said, they would send him notes like, Fosse, notes like, too much smoke, it'll break up in drive-ins. He'd rip it up and throw it over his shoulder. We'd pay no attention to that anymore. Yeah.
Okay, tell me what it felt like then, the night of the Academy Awards. What was it like for you sitting, hearing your name read out?
Well, I was fine. My father was a very quiet, dignified man, but very funny, right? So he was very quiet. And they said my name, and I still have a ringing in my ear from when my father screamed in my ear. He gave me tinnitus. He screamed so loudly in my ear. I'm telling you, he went nuts. And I was so happy for him. I thought, oh my God, this is wonderful. He was so proud, you know. And I thought, gosh, my mom never really got to see me do anything, but she would have been proud of me too. Mm. And we're the only family.
I know.
Then all have an Academy Award.
Okay, Liza with a Z, which is just fantastic. You know, tell us about that.
Well, that came out the same year as Cabaret did. So we did that, and it was the first in-concert television show, live, in performance.
Absolutely.
Ever done.
Relentless.
Ever. No, ever done.
Kiss it. Hold it a long time. Hold it. Oh, don't turn me loose now. Hold it. A little bit longer now. Hold it. Come on. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Don't be greedy now. Get back.
You'd be bloody nervous. You'd have to be nervous, you know? I mean...
Yeah, but if you're well-rehearsed enough, and you know what you're doing. We had one shot at that.
Yeah, I know.
We had one performance. And then Fosse went in and edited. So I had to pull out everything. And at that point, he had 8 cameras on it. And they were film cameras, 16mm cameras. Mm. So at the end of the show, he came back and said, how were you? And I said, I don't know. I said, don't you know? He said, no. I mean, you seemed like you were good. And then later, when he saw the film, he called me up. The same with Freddie. Fred said, how'd you do? I was so nervous I couldn't tell.
1977.
Yes.
New York with Robert De Niro.
Yes.
The song itself.
Oh, it's wonderful. And didn't get any notice whatsoever.
You were saying before?
It wasn't even nominated for an Academy Award. And then Frank Sinatra, he called up and he said, listen, that's a good song. Can I sing it? I'm going to open in New York, and I needed a New York song. I said, please, say it, make it a hit. And he did. But every time he sang it, he'd say, I'd like to sing Liza's song now. The song was written for Liza, and I'm going to sing it.
If I can make it, they're harder than that. Make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York. Yeah, buddy.
All right, 1981.
Yes?
We get to a film that is one of my favorites. And of course, we're talking about Arthur.
Yes.
Your comedic timing with Dudley Moore is exquisite.
Well, I'm a straight man for Dudley. He's just so funny. All you have to do is just look at him and sit still, and he will do something, you know, or he would have done something. I miss him so much.
Now, another thing that you did in the recording side with the Pet Shop Boys.
Yes.
How did that come about?
They came to see me. They were going to write 2 songs for this record they wanted,
Right.
other people wanted me to do.
Yeah.
And I opened the door, and we looked at each other, and for some reason we started to laugh, and they wrote the whole album. So I was recording that in the daytime, and then going across town and working with Sammy Davis Jr. and Frank Sinatra in the evening. It was a very interesting time. Well, I only was working with them because Dean Martin fell off the stage.
I'll have a drink on that one. It's orange juice, mine, too.
He did. He got hurt. They said, will you come and do it? I didn't want to.
Losing My Mind.
Yes.
I love that track.
Yes, me too.
At times in your life, did you ever think you were losing your mind?
Oh, there have been times when I'm spinning pretty good.
Yeah.
But I can always get a foot on the ground. If I read what I have read about me, I would think I was a nervous wreck. I would also think that I was, you know, I cried half the time, and I'm a worker, you know? And I guess because I don't talk about myself that much, I don't like to, that not very many people know me very well.
Coming back and replacing Julie Andrews in Victor Victoria.
Oh,
know?
yes.
Now,
For
there
6
is a
weeks.
legend in herself, you know, that's got this part,
Sure.
the whole thing like that, you know? Was that hard to do, you know?
Yes, of course it was. It's an insane part, and I had to have a throat operation just like she did because of it. Because you're supposed to be speaking, pretending you're a man, you know?
Yeah.
And then singing like a woman. And unless you really train for it, it can screw around with your voice, and it did with both of us. But I got mine back. I kept working at it again. She never got hers back.
In 2000, she was admitted into hospital with a serious case of viral encephalitis. The doctor's prognosis was not good.
When the doctor said you'd never go to a wheelchair after 2000 with the viral,
Yes.
you used dance as a therapy, which no one else would have ever dared to do, you know? You said no.
They told me I'd never walk or speak again.
Speak.
Or speak, or move again. You know, and it was really bad. And I thought, wait a minute, there's gotta be an answer. My father always told me, just think about it. You'll think of something. Think about it. So I'm lying there, I can't move, I can't speak, I can't do anything. And I thought, I don't know how to do anything. What do I know how to do? And it came to me, I know how to rehearse. I know how to rehearse. So I started to practice just saying the alphabet. And I did it every waking moment. And I counted 1, 2, 3, and I just did it. And then after I could speak, I said, I'd like to try and walk. They said, but you don't understand. I said, no, you don't understand. I'd like to try. So I got up and my arms were around the doctor's shoulders, and my legs were just rubber. And I said, you take 1 step back. And he did. And I threw this hip so that the leg went like that. I said, first step, far enough, stay. That's good enough for today.
Wow.
And then it took me a couple of years, really, to get everything back.
I mean, how do you do it? I mean, I know you say work ethics and the whole thing like that, you know, but it's something else to come back and do that, you know?
If you're positive, if you stay positive and you stay curious, you'll figure something out. And if you can't do it, then ask somebody who knows more than you do. That's how I've learned everything, by going to people who know more than I do and saying, how do I do this? How do I learn this? How do you do that? You know? I'm still so curious, and that's what keeps me going.
With that refusal to accept the doctor's report, right, and what you did then, you know, to recover and return to stage in 2002 and get rave reviews from the London critics, from the New York critics, and they can be harsh, that must have been a triumph for you. It had to be, surely.
It was good, but I didn't feel like I was up to par yet.
When do you think you're up to par?
Rarely. I always think I can get better. No, I was still fighting some of the effects, you know. I've really gotten everything back. I'd say in the last 3.5 years. That's when it's all come back.
And sometimes your heart breaks with a deafening sigh.
After Liza's comeback, she appeared in many popular television shows.
Doing things, Arrested Development, I mean, having fun, it seems, you know?
Well, then I got to be the slapstick one, you know.
Lucille Austero had just returned from a month-long stay at a facility that specialized in the treatment of vertigo.
Just a minute, you're okay. You're okay, we're okay. We're okay. Somebody will be here in a second. We're okay.
I guess what I'm trying to say is...
Start spreading the news.
Everybody thinks they're Frank Sinatra.
Today.
Maybe we could start anew.
To come back and do Liza at the Palace. I mean, the critics raved, but more than the critics, the public just loved it.
That's
Absolutely
wonderful.
loved
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
And the Tony Award goes to Liza's at the Palace.
Thank you so much. I can't tell you, this is exquisite.
So, the exciting thing is, you're coming down to Australia to perform.
Yes.
So what can we look forward to? I mean,
I can't wait to get there. I can't wait to... I'm so anxious. You know, just to be there again.
Yeah?
When people are in the audience, when I'm on the stage, that's us together.
Yeah.
That's the, you know, we're talking together. Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait to get there and to be able to see people and talk to them and sing my songs for them and do my best.
That Liza Minnelli is still alive today is testament to her iron determination. That she's still singing and dancing is a miracle. Liza with a Z is back in Australia after way too long, and I had an audience with her a few hours ago. Liza Minnelli, welcome back to Australia.
Thank you, Tracy.
Does it feel like turning back the clock?
No, it feels brand new. I mean, there's so many memories, yes, but it's so beautiful, it's so different.
Life is a cabaret, old chum. Life is a cabaret, old chum. I love a cabaret.
If anyone can be called Hollywood royalty, it's Liza Minnelli. The gifted daughter of screen legend Judy Garland has acted, sung and danced her way through an extraordinary career spanning more than half a century. Now she's back in Australia for her first live performance in nearly 20 years. What are your best memories of being here?
My friends here, you know, and of course being here with Peter was so much fun.
We went looking through our archives.
Yes.
And we found a clip of you and Peter and Chris performing on Bandstand in 1967.
You're kidding.
Would you like to see it?
Oh, yes.
Well, here it is.
That's why everybody loves my baby. My baby don't love nobody but me.
Do you remember
that's
that?
Great.
How many years is it since you've seen that?
Since I did it.
Really?
Yeah.
So, do you remember being there on that night?
Yes, I remember what fun we had.
Well,
and we laughed a lot.
You look like you had the world at your feet then.
Well, we were having fun, you know. And I think you always have the world at your feet when you're enjoying yourself and appreciating what has been given to you and what you've achieved and what you're passionate about.
What memories does that bring back for you?
Pure love. Pure love.
Is that what keeps you going? Because you are a person, you've had big challenges in your life.
Everybody has. No, it's just mine get written about. And they have since somebody slapped me on the bottom, you know. So it seems as if it's been very public. But I think that so many people have gone through so much worse things than I have, so many times. And their strength gives me strength. I find strength from other people, from other human beings.
Really? Do you really think that other people have been through worse things than you?
Oh,
I think
yes,
you've
of
had
course.
enormous trials in your life.
Yes, but look, we're here, aren't we? So that's the answer to that. Look, there's people who can't walk. There's people who are in terrible trouble. People who don't have anything to eat. No, the kind of troubles I've had just make everybody else's problems who are in the position to be able to afford to buy newspapers feel good. You know, because you're reading about somebody else having problems. But I'm talking about things, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so does your beautiful audience.
Liza Minnelli.
Liza is the ultimate showbiz survivor.
Making the film of Cabaret was one of the happiest times of my whole life.
She's endured hip and knee replacements, addictions to alcohol and prescription drugs, painful divorces, and sometimes cruel headlines. After a battle with viral encephalitis in 2000, doctors told her she would spend the rest of her life in a wheelchair. Do you think you're a strong person?
What do you think?
I think that you are a fascinating mix of strength and vulnerability.
Thank you.
Which part do you think is the biggest part of you?
I think that you have to have equal parts and many sides, and that you have to acknowledge them. And you have to let each one of them grow and change and adapt as time moves on. You know, what real life is about is learning and staying curious. And that curiosity keeps you from thinking about yourself too much.
A critic said once of your turn in Victor Victoria,
yes,
that your performance was a mix of showbiz stamina and psychic frailty.
Fabulous, whatever that means. It's great.
Do you agree with that? Can you identify with that?
I have no idea what he's talking about, but as long as he said it, it means he liked it.
I think he was saying that you're a mix of vulnerability and strength, perhaps.
I think we all are.
Yeah.
I think all women are. I know that.
When you were told after you had your bout of encephalitis,
yes,
that you may never walk or talk again, you thought, but what about my career?
No, I really thought, I don't know how to do anything else but sing and dance. So what am I gonna do? So I looked for every possible thing I could do to get better. And it worked. I wouldn't give up because I didn't want to. And your sense of humor is really important.
Did you have a sense of humor through all of that?
Yes.
How?
Oh, I don't know, but that's a little draggy. Let's talk about something happy.
All right, tell us what you've got in store for Australian audiences.
Oh, man, I have been so excited about coming here and nervous because I haven't been here in a long time, so I want to be really good.
How important is the audience to you?
Oh, completely. They're my partner. I mean, we're in it together. They're part of everything.
You said once that they were your family, I think. You said on stage.
Yes.
Is that how it feels to you, that they're your family?
It really does. You know, it really does, because I can count on them. I can count on them. And that to me is family.
That's a touching thing to say, but it's also, it's maybe a little sad.
Oh, I don't think so.
That a room full of strangers...
Well, my family has joined the choir. You know, they're up there having a ball, and when you're down here, you make your own family.
Speaking of family, we also found some clips of you performing at the London Palladium with your mum.
Ah!
When I think you were 18 years old.
17.
Okay, 17.
Take her rap, fellas, find her an extra lap. Fellas, hey, but never go again.
That's great.
It is great.
Thank you. Wow. Oh, God. It was so long ago.
Do you remember that moment? Do you remember being up there?
Well, what I remember is that my mother wanted me to wear white, and I wore bright green. And she wanted me to wear red lipstick, and I wore pink lipstick. You know, I let her put the red on me, but then I went backstage and wiped it off.
So you were rebelling at the age of 17?
No, but I hadn't wanted to do it in the first place. I said, for the Lord's sake, why don't you get Sinatra or Peggy Lee or some... I said, Mama, nobody knows me. I haven't even done my first Broadway show yet, just off-Broadway and stock and things like that. She said, no, I want to do it with you. And she only fought me for 5 days. And I thought, she's giving up too easily. And the next day I went outside, and the front page of the newspaper was, Judy to perform with daughter Liza at the Palladium. I thought, I'm screwed. You want to be able to make your mom proud of you, and you don't want to disappoint yourself either.
Was she proud of you?
Always. More importantly, I was proud of her.
You have said that you love shows like So You Think You Can Dance and
Yes.
Dancing with the Stars, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Given that you know how difficult it is to be a star, reality television shows rocket people into stardom. Do you worry that it happens for them too quickly, that it's too much to deal with?
I don't worry. It's just it's going to happen. They're going to be non-stars just as quickly. I mean, you know, remember when Andy Warhol said everybody's going to have 15 minutes? Well, now it's 3. It really, there are people you never hear about again. And I think that if you're not taught or warned that this is going to be over in a second, and when it does become over, I think they get probably very disappointed, which is a pity.
You were very close friends with Michael Jackson, and the world mourned his passing.
Yes.
Do you think he was pushed too hard?
Yes. Yes, I do. And the only thing I have to say, really, honestly, is that he was one of the greatest performers there ever was. Everybody loved him and respected him. And I think, of course, they pushed him too hard. Yeah, of course they did. He was used from the time he could talk. Come on.
Could you have said that to him, or did he just not listen?
I couldn't change it. But when we were together, I could. I mean, we had fun. We had a lovely time.
You have a lovely time in Australia.
Thank you, I will.
Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you for being so kind.
And Liza Minnelli's tour of Australia begins this Friday. All of those